Gracious God, we come at the end of another day just to say thank you, Father, for letting us be a part of it, Lord. I just pray that everyone that you put in our path today, Lord, we've left a positive impact on them. Just pray, God, you be with us as we conduct the business of the city tonight, Lord. Let it be in a Christian fashion, Father. And I thank you for these men and women that serve your city. I ask, God, as always, be with our fire, EMS, and police as they take care of us and keep us safe. I ask all this now in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Ms. Baker, lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to thank everyone for being out this evening. Would the clerk please call the roll?
David Sisson.
Here.
Jeff White.
Here.
Tia Wetson.
Here.
Bo Pettit.
Here.
Jamie Waller.
Here.
Kelly Souter. Here. Steve Nipper.
Here.
James Jefferson.
Here.
Minutes from our August meeting were in your packet. I trust you've reviewed those. If there's no additions or correction, I'll entertain a motion to approve when you're ready.
So moved.
The motion,
Second.
second for Ms. Souter. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Could I get a motion and a second to add a piece of new business? Motion for Ms. Souter.
Second.
Second for Mr. Jefferson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Let's move into old business. Last month we read an ordinance for the first time on water and on sewer rate increase. Mr. Jerry Kopke, as we've talked about, Act 605, which was passed by the state, takes a look at utilities around the state. This is being done to make sure that our rates are in line with our debts. Bottom line is the state's tired of bailing out systems, which they don't have to bail out Magnolia, and we are fine. But we're going to have a second reading of the water, and we'll have a first reading on the sewer. We made some changes to the sewer. Mr. Jerry reached out to our attorney and to the city clerk. On the water, you heard that last month. Would you like to hear it in its entirety, or would you entertain a motion to put it on a title-only reading?
Title only.
Motion for Mr. Jefferson to put the water ordinance on title only. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Mr. Waller. When you have time, Candy, we'll do the water by title only. There are no changes.
Great. An ordinance amending ordinance number A-2011-06 of the City of Magnolia, Arkansas, fixing the rates for water furnished and services rendered by the Water Department of the City of Magnolia, Arkansas, and for other purposes relating thereto.
Okay, that's the second reading by title only, and you guys remember when Mr. Jerry was here all these months ago, Candy helped me, water is a 2% increase. Okay. All right, let's move to the sewer ordinance. I'll ask that it be read in its entirety because it did have a change made to it, and this will be the first reading when you're ready, Candy.
An ordinance amending ordinance number A-95-01 of the City of Magnolia, Arkansas, fixing the rates for the services rendered by the wastewater system of the City of Magnolia, Arkansas, and for other purposes relating thereto. Whereas the City of Magnolia, Arkansas, which is the municipality, owns and operates the wastewater system serving the citizens of Magnolia and others, which is the system, and whereas the Magnolia City Council has determined that rates and charges for wastewater services rendered by the system should be increased in order to maintain an adequate operating ratio, comparison of total revenues to total expenses and reserves, and to properly operate the system, accommodate necessary repairs and maintenance of the system, and to make and finance extensions, betterments, and improvements to the system, and now, therefore, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Magnolia, Arkansas, in regular session assembled that Section 1, subsection B of Section 1 of Ordinance Number A-95-1, as previously amended, is hereby amended to read as follows. B. All users of the system shall be charged monthly $4.62 per 1,000 gallons or portion thereof of metered water consumption over the first 1,000 gallons for OM&R. All sewer users shall be classified by the manager as residential, commercial, or industrial. 1. A residential user is defined as a user whose wastewater is from residential property. 2. A commercial user is defined as a user whose liquid wastewater results from commercial operations, trade, or business. And 3. An industrial user is defined as a user whose liquid wastewater results from industrial, manufacturing, or processing. All users located outside the Magnolia city limits shall be charged twice, 2 times the rates charged to residents of the city. Ordinance A-95-1 has been amended previously by ordinance numbers A-03-10, A-07-09, A-2011-01, A-2011-07, and 2017-5. Section 2, the subsection G of Section 1 of ordinance number A-95-1, as previously amended, is hereby amended to read as follows. G, the total minimum user charge. The minimum monthly bill per user of the system shall be $11.87, which shall be calculated as follows, which is the OM&R, which is $462, plus the debt, $725, equals $11.87. Section 3, the rates and charges fixed by this ordinance shall be applicable to services rendered by the system on and after the first day of the first billing period commencing after the effective date hereof. Section 4, the provisions of this ordinance are separable, and if a section, phrase, or provision shall be declared invalid, such declaration shall not affect the validity of the remainder of the ordinance. Section 5, all ordinances and resolutions and parts thereof in conflict herewith are hereby repealed to the extent of the conflict. Section 6, this ordinance shall be effective on the 31st day after its passage and publication as required by applicable law.
Okay, that's the first reading of this ordinance. This council knows, but to our guest, you've heard a lot of numbers there. The Arkansas Environmental Quality controls what we do with our sewer. Once we've treated it, we turn what's left back into the environment. They have gone up on us over the years of what they want it to be treated with and like for the environment, and that's why some of these rates are being raised up. So sewer does cost more to get rid of than water, and there was a time when water was more expensive, but that's the first reading. If you have questions, reach out to Candy Mealer and her staff in water, wastewater. They'll be happy to answer any questions you have, or myself will be happy to. We'll have another reading next month. Let's move to new business. We're going to have to jump around. Ms. Baker's got another engagement, but Ellie Baker, our economic developer, is here to bring us up to speed on Fountain Plaza.
Thank you. I have received 2 offers on the Fountain Plaza property, and it just so happened that both of these offers came about the same time. And it's really odd that this happened. So I'm glad that it worked out like this. That way we do have an option instead of just going with whatever was first presented. So I will say that both of these offers are very attractive in very different ways. So we'll just get to it. So first off, both offers are contingent on a Phase 1 environmental assessment. I have submitted for a grant through Southwest Planning and Development District through the EDA to get that assessment. There are funds set aside for that, and so I don't see any issues with getting that pushed through or us receiving that grant to do so. I also requested for that assessment to be done on the Pittman property while they were at it, just to go ahead and get that done before someone came along and wanted to purchase it as well, we would already have that assessment done. So both of those are in the works, and both of these offers are contingent upon what those, that assessment comes back and says. So it will be a soil test, just stating if anything is in the ground that will have to be removed, what has been there prior to, that kind of thing. So they're just wanting to make sure that there's not any endangered species and all the things that we've done basically at our select site before, but that one was in greater detail. So we'll start with offer A, and I have emailed both of these offers to you without necessarily stating the details as far as the names of, or the identity of the entities that are presenting these offers due to confidentiality reasons. RAM Development Partners, they are the development team that works within the same building and is the sister development company for Retail Strategies that we are in current contract with to help market Magnolia to national brands and to get more traction to Magnolia and to be recognized as somewhere that you can do business, and it would also provide additional quality of life aspects for Magnolia to have some more national retailers, restaurants, that kind of thing. This is not in any kind of scope to try to put out any mom and pops that we have, any local, because those obviously have their place as well, and everyone that I know of loves to support them. But if you're going to have a complete town, you have to have national brands that people can recognize. And since we are not necessarily located, 10 minutes from anything that offers those things, we would like to be able to offer those in Magnolia. And so that is what we have our contract basis for with Retail Strategies. We are in our third year with them. In 2019, we purchased, with approval from the council, the city purchased the Fountain Plaza property. It was a purchase price of $250,000, and then there was additional cost on top of that for the cleaning of the west properties, taking them down. All of the structures were demoed and hauled off. The concrete that was there as the foundation stayed. The remaining building is what the CCAPS building thrift store is the only one that remains. Both offers, before I get started, both offers have stated that they would prefer that upon closing, which obviously will not be anytime soon because we will still need to have that assessment done, and I do not have that timeline yet of what that looks like. They will need, they would like to be able to go ahead and clear out that property as well to potentially build on that property at some point. So those are the two contingencies that both utilize. So RAM Development Partners has submitted a letter of intent to Retail Strategies and forwarded on to us that there is a quick serve restaurant that is in the market for Arkansas and has identified Fountain Plaza as a potential location for one of their operations. They have, so all of RAM's details are based off of their letter of intent that they received from the quick serve restaurant. They have offered $200,000, and there will be no fees or expenses incurred by the city as far as closing costs or expectations of us removing any additional structures or concrete or any upgrades to the property. They are not expecting the city to do one thing. So that will be $200,000 at the end of the day in hand. and I requested, they had, I think initially, they had offered 180. A year or so ago, they had put together a proposal, and we had talked about how we at least needed 200,000, because this wasn't a situation, whenever the property was purchased, it wasn't necessarily for the city to make money off of, it was for the city to have control of how that property eventually looked. And so, I requested that they go up to 200,000, and they did. So with that, they have asked for a 150-day due diligence period. That will include multiple site visits, their real estate committee getting together, engineering and permitting, et cetera, of what all goes in with building. So this is not necessarily a franchise situation. It will be corporate owned, and they'll have a district manager. Before I go through the pros and cons, I'll go ahead and let you know what offer B was. Offer B is a credit union. They are offering $300,000. Again, no expenses or fees will be incurred by the city. Their additional contingencies will be the storm water pipeline assessment that runs under that parking lot. And they have requested, they will be requesting a variance for approval of a temporary modular building for 5 years. The modular building, and I do have what that would look like, an example of what it would look like. It would have brick on the exterior of it. It would not look like a modular building at all. They have submitted what the site plan of the property would look like. And on the face of it, it's a really hard decision, you know. So I went through and made some pros and cons, and I hope that you all took the time to really think about what both of these entities have to offer to the city. So I'll just go through my list, if that's what y'all want to do, or if y'all have anything that y'all want to ask initially before I start going through it.
Go ahead.
Okay, so on the pros for the Ram Development Partners, again with the quick serve restaurant, sales tax revenue would be immediate after they build. Ram Development Partners will continue to market the remaining property for a return in sales tax revenue. So they will own the full 4 acres, which that is 4 acres there. They will own that, Ram Development Partners will. But their ultimate goal is to serve the city in the best capacity for the city. So they are not out there looking for individuals to purchase that property. They will be looking for anything from a hotel to a restaurant, additional office spaces even, you know, could be a potential. And there was one more, I can't think of off the top of my head. Small retail was another one, or even a grocer. I mean, that's also a potential. So they will continue to identify those that would or do have interest in Magnolia, because we do have several that are interested in Magnolia in coming here. There are a lot of moving parts to getting them here, but we do have a lot that are interested. The tenant, the quick serve restaurant will want to own their own dirt. So Ram will be doing the horizontal development and site work for them, so they flow with the balance of the property. So they will be controlling how that lays out on the property. So those remaining parcels behind that one, once it's carved out, they want to make sure that the remaining is attractive to someone coming in and wanting to do additional development. The cons, it is a 150-day due diligence. That is 5 months, but in the grand scheme of things, you have to think about how much, construction estimates, engineering, all of the things, how fast does that happen in the real world, in things that you all have had dealings with, and the LOI may not go through. So if the LOI does not follow through and they decide to pull out, then RAM will also pull this contract and the agreement will be null, will be voided. And so they have put that in there that they will be able to void the contract within the 150 days. And so there's an 80%, let's see, on the positive that the LOI will go through is what the company is known for. So, I think it's just one of those things that we just have to look at. Are you willing to take that into consideration? Are you willing to take that chance on them pulling out? Because last year, whenever I received that purchase agreement, before I was able to even bring it to you, they said, wait a minute, we're backing up on some of our market areas, and they ended up cutting their scope by, I think, like 50%, and it just happened that Magnolia was on the list that got cut, and so I wasn't able to bring that to you. Offer B, the sale is a guarantee. It is $100,000 more, and they will be building on that property if all of the contingencies are met. Their landscaping, and I'll pass around a couple of photos here in just a minute of examples of what it could look like for both. The landscaping that they have prepared or proposed is very, very nice. So that is one of the things that, initially whenever you purchased this property, that was one of the things, was that you wanted it to look nice. We wanted something nice for the entrance of town. And I'm not saying that the other one wouldn't look nice. It is just going to be a more scaled down version on the landscape part of it, initially. And they agree it would basically be a handshake deal. But they seem very interested in partnering with the city to make sure that those back two pieces that are left will be for the benefit of the city. And so they want to be able to control who their neighbors are, which I completely understand, and which is why they want to purchase the whole property and not just the 1 acre that they need. And I've even asked if both parties would be interested in working together, so maybe both of them could work out there, but they both want that frontage. So, nobody wants to take that second place, which I understand. But I think whenever, on the quick serve part of it, their building and the way that their setup would allow for access, or even, you could even see the second building if something else came in there rather easily. The first one, option B, doesn't necessarily allow for that second building to be there, but let's just say something taller goes in there like a hotel. We don't know. That wouldn't necessarily be detrimental to any project like that is, multi-level. So, that's kind of part of the cons as well. That's kind of where we are. I will say that both offers, neither one of them are new concepts to Magnolia. We have both of these in Magnolia. We don't have these particular brands in Magnolia. So. I will, are there any questions?
I've got a couple of questions, Ellie, if you
Okay.
don't mind. Do you have a site plan of the property for Ram Development Partners yet?
Mhm.
You have an idea what they want to do? Okay.
I'm gonna pass that around.
Sure. Secondly, we had talked about having some control over, what goes there, so, we keep the city as beautified as possible. Will there be any verbiage in the sales contract or the deed that allows us to have any say in what maybe we're dead set couldn't go there once we sell it?
That is going to be per the zoning and the code, that was recently passed, in May, I think, whenever we updated the 2040 plan. I don't know that you would necessarily want to go down that road due to getting yourself backed into a corner where you wish that it would have allowed for something, but now you're here and you put these stipulations on it, because if you get too cornered, that's just gonna be a tough road.
So just the standard zoning?
Yeah, it would have to be the standard zoning. I would not feel comfortable cornering the city in that way.
Well, that's a question.
Okay.
I'm asking. Any idea on projected sales tax revenue from the QSR if we go that route?
I do not have that.
Not gotten that far yet?
No.
Got it. Okay. Thanks, Ed.
And
I can get that for you, but I don't have it right now.
Jim, to your point, I think either option, they have as much, if not more so, reason to make sure something good goes in there, because they're gonna be neighbors. So, with the Ram has a reputation to protect as well. They're working for the city, they work with other cities, and so they've got every reason to make sure that whatever they put there is a good.
Well, and as long as our zoning is what we want it to be,
Yeah.
then it's what we want's gonna go in there anyway.
Well, I mean, commercial C2, isn't it C2 properties? I mean, it allows for a lot of things. So,
But I mean, if we as a city, that's what we would think to do with our zoning, then we
Right.
gotta be okay with whatever fits into
Right.
C2, so.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Questions?
Yes.
You keep talking about a second and third building behind the first building.
Yes.
Okay, now, I know I've seen some of this, but what's to prevent them, like, doing just one building or four buildings? I mean,
Oh, there's not anything.
you keep talking about second, third, but. you
I'm
don't
saying
really-
that just from that potential drawing of their scope of what they have outlined in their proposed site plan, that would be their idea of that property. That property can be utilized in a multitude of ways.
We're not gonna limit them.
We are not limiting one bit on how many can go over there,
Okay, if we
as
go-
long as the parking and all the regulations are met.
Sure. And, is the stormwater pipeline assessment part of the EPA, or is that a different assessment?
That is going to be a different assessment,
And who's
so
paying
the
for
city
that?
can do that. We have one of those cameras that the city can run through there.
Okay, because in the past was an issue, it flooded back there,
Mm-hmm.
on that backside. Okay, another question, is Retail Strategies gonna continue, are we still gonna continue to pay them if we give this sell to Ram? I mean, our contract's up this year, isn't it?
It is going to be up in March.
March, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, would Retail Strategies be looking over Ram's shoulder here, telling them what to do, or?
And so, since they are in the same office, like their offices, I had the pleasure of going out there last week actually, and their office space is set up where the middle part is your development team, and your side offices are your retail strategies team.
Okay.
And so they are constantly working together. We could negotiate a contract to where maybe they don't have to continuously provide the updated data that they have been giving me or the updates that they have been giving me, but maybe we could negotiate a contract to where they continuously work with RAM to make sure that specific property is maintained and what goes on that property. Or we could just throw it to the winds. And hopefully Ram will do that, but that is their business. Their business is to sell these properties and develop these properties to markets that they are in as far as national brands and their contacts.
Yeah.
That is what they are in the business of doing. Now, if it gets to a point where, you know, y'all want to go as far as, I'm assuming, and this would be a legal question, that we could put a right of first refusal in there. I mean, I don't know, would that be appropriate?
I mean, you can do whatever the parties will agree to do.
Okay.
So there are lots of options there, but you could do right of first refusal, you could do restrictions, it's really what the parties
Right.
will agree to. It's not uncommon for a public entity to include a right of first refusal in a deed transaction, just so that, you know, if you're doing a transaction for a certain purpose with certain ideas in mind, that you know, that doesn't get away from you later, kind of thing. But, so that's really just up to the negotiation between the parties.
And then at that point, you would also have to I would think that you would want to put a stipulation on price. Is that correct? Based on whatever it appraised for at that time, or maybe even a percentage of at that time's appraisal or something like that. So both parties are, because you wouldn't want to necessarily make them lose money on the property, but you want to be able to protect it at the same time.
You wouldn't have to, but it really depends on kind of what each side, you know, of the transaction, what their goals
Right.
in the transaction, future goals are. So,
I have one question. Let's say we pick option A and they do pull out. Can option B, would they still be interested? We don't know.
It just depends on where they are with their plan at that point. So,
I got some. So, 2019 is when we got the property that was for 250. Are these the only two offers that we've ever had since then? So, just thinking with what could happen in the next 3 to 5 years in Magnolia, is this something we jump on now, or could this property go up? You know, that's 4 acres of concrete slab there that anything can go there, you know?
yes, that is a very good possibility that the value of that property will continue to increase. And more than likely, it will continue to increase, and especially due to the prediction of influx that we will have in this area. The issue with holding on to this property is not being ready. And we have got to continue to work to get Magnolia ready to provide quality of life services, amenities, things to not only our current citizens, but those that may be looking to move here. So what are they wanting? What looks attractive to them? And is it the purpose of making money off of the property versus having it for some sort of service already in place?
Yeah, that's a good question, Bo. We did, being on the council back then, we didn't buy this with the intention of making money or, eventually getting some type of return in that way. The real goal was to control what goes there, improve quality of life, have something that the citizens or potential new citizens would want, and sales tax revenue, hopefully have something there that would produce sales tax revenue. So it's a good thought, and probably is an accurate assessment that you would think the value would go up, but that's not ultimately what, we're trying to think long-term here as opposed to short-term potential gain.
There's something else, though, that you may not know. That property, that guy tried to sell that property forever, but because, I think because a lot of the water problem behind it with the creek and the drain pipe, he couldn't sell it. I think we might have been his only option. I don't see it going up in value
Yes,
enough to
right
make a
now
difference. And the way I see it now, if we get a QSR in there, then we're making some sales tax revenue right away, which in the long run, I think that's really what we're looking for.
Yeah.
For the future, rather than just sit on it for 4, 5, 6 years and maybe make another $100,000. I'd rather make sales tax revenue right away.
I will say that the appraisal on it, ultimately, at the end of the day, is $300,000. While it's valued more than that, but once you take off the $100,000 expense of removal of the concrete and the additional building, it's about $300,000.
I know we don't have to pay for it now. I haven't done phase 1 in 10 years, but how much does phase 1 cost?
No idea. All I know is that we're getting it through a grant and we don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, but doesn't the grant specify what you're paying?
It does, but Southwest Planning is taking care of all of that for us. We don't have to
I think we
worry
need
about
to know.
stuff.
I think it's $3,000 or $4,000.
Yeah, I mean, the last time that we did the in-depth one out at the business park, I think Cammie ended up with like right around, I wanna say 6,000, but that was incredibly, that was a lot.
You know, if they find something, they're going back to do a phase 2, that's when it gets expensive.
Right,
Yeah, I know, yeah.
yeah.
And
But I don't have today's price now.
Just follow up on one other quick thing, is that if we go with offer A and Retail Strategies contract ends in March, there probably isn't any reason to renew a contract with Retail Strategies, is there?
Did you say there isn't, or there is?
There is not. If their buddies over here at RAM are doing the project,
Well, I mean, do you want them just to continue to market that one property, or do you want them to continue to market the rest of Magnolia for us? So there has been, and I was not prepared to give you all of the updates on everything with Retail Strategies tonight, which I will be more than happy to do in the next coming months. But they have had traction on a lot of different types of services, looking to come to Magnolia or have a location in Magnolia. Our problem, this is our problem, infrastructure on the east side of 79, additional driveways onto 79, which that's a state highway, we don't control that. Then you also, which is not, in our world, it's not a detriment, but then again, whenever you're looking to bring something here, it kind of is. We don't have an old Walmart building. We don't have space. We don't have the space that is open and available. And that is attractive to some of the smaller retail markets, is to already have that building space available. A lot of them want properties along 79 and Main Street only, unless they have a traffic count that is high enough within the city to locate. So that value of being able to see for everyone that is passing through, the 13,000 the last time I looked, the 13,000 people that are traveling on a daily basis on Highway 79, that's what their goal is to be seen by them. And they are working and have been working very hard for Magnolia. I know that it's one of those things you haven't seen any technical, things come out of this, but here's one. I mean, it's just one of those things, also, that's another thing to think about. If we say no to this, what does that look like?
well, I was
With
mistaken
ours.
about the scope of Retail
Right.
Strategies. I thought they were just focused on Mount Plaza.
No. Their focus is
Because we
on
hadn't heard any
Magnolia as a
reports
whole.
back from anything else besides Mountain Plaza, I guess, over the years.
Okay, I will get one for you.
Well, I'm not, you,
I will
this is
get one
another
for you.
conversation with the mayor about your job, so
Okay.
I'll talk
Okay.
about that later.
So, that's just kind of where we are with that. And, before we go any further, I'm going to send around, this is the concept that the credit union has proposed. They had someone come in and look over, the property multiple times, and, they are, highly focused on landscape. They really like to have a good landscape. So, this is where they would be. This is Main Street, and these are just options as to what that building would, what the rest of it would look like. Not saying that is what it would look like.
So, but now neither option would already start construction on new buildings. So, say for instance, the credit union, they don't plan to build buildings other than theirs. They just are proposing that they would sell those lots
Right, they would
to
sell.
somebody else.
They're open to sell or lease
Yeah.
to someone else.
Yeah, and the same with RSM, except their job is to find somebody to try to.
So they are also developers. So they will be planning and developing that building for that QSR. So it goes along with how that property should be laid out to lend itself to others to come in to use it. And then let me give you what the site plan is. Oh goodness, that's a bit up. So this is where they would be, and all of this would just stay open. So. And these are preliminary, obviously.
Do we have any negotiating ability as far as, say, if we were to take option A, can we go back to them and ask for more, or are they pretty well dead set? This is their.
I know we can ask for them to decrease their due diligence period because it started out at 210 days, and I've already gone
We're done
as far as we could go.
Yeah.
Just because that's what their timeline is. I mean, they don't have any thing over that. I mean, I could ask, but I've had them come up $20,000 already from their initial offer that they sent. So.
Well, again, at the end of the day, the main thing is not to make money on this property. You never want to buy something and take a loss on it, but we knew that was a possibility when we purchased this property. We knew that.
Well, and just if you are wondering what it could potentially look like, these are just example buildings of the modular building that they are proposing. There's 2 examples in here. So, I mean, it's definitely not a concept that you would think of whenever you think of modular building. It has the brick on it. It will still have all of the landscaping around it.
And I would remind our guests that when we bought this property, it was a major eyesore to the entrance of our city. That's why we bought the property, because no one would and clean it up. We bought it to clean it up. We've been hopeful that this day would come. I've heard some say it's not about money. It's always about money, but in our case, it's about jobs and creating that for folks to have. But this was a major eyesore, and our goal was to purchase and clean up.
Both are going to be providing jobs at the end of the day. It's one of those things that, again, we work with retail strategies, and we've been asking for this, and do not get me wrong, this is the option, the quick serve option that is being proposed. It's not going to be for everybody. Yes, we will hear moaning and groaning on social media, 100%. You're going to hear that with either, I believe. But again, that's why we hired them.
Well, and I'll say, at the end of the day, we've got 2 good options. This is a good problem to have.
It really
We've been
is.
sitting here wanting an option, period.
Right. And then all of a sudden you have 2.
And now we've got 2. So I don't think we can go wrong you know, I really don't think whichever route we go, we're gonna end up with something nice that is presentable for people coming into the city. You know, I like the thought of sales tax revenue coming in. I like the thought of that is what that company is designed to do, bring in other, they will still be pursuing other options for the other two lots. I think that's a very big deal, and I know the credit union would do that too. That's not their job. You know, that's not their main goal to provide to get other institutions on that lot. So you know, I think if you're looking at it long term, and you know, you're looking at what's best for the city, I like option A. I think that tends to make sense right now, but
I make a motion that we take offer A, instruct that to Ellie Baker.
I'll second.
There's a motion from Mr. Nipper and a second from Mr. Sisson. Is there a need for any more conversation at this time? The motion was to take the $200,000, put it back in economic development to sew it up tight and get it going. Is that what I heard?
Well, that's your words. I just want to make it all.
Maybe not for the minutes.
There's a motion and a second. Call the roll, Ms. Miller.
David Sisson,
Yes.
Jeff White,
Yes.
Tia Wesson, Bo Pettit,
No.
Jamie Waller,
yes.
Kelly Souter,
Yes.
Steve Nipper,
Yes.
James Jefferson.
Yes.
Thank you all. Thank you, Ms. Baker.
Thank you.
Added new business. Mr. Jerry Lewis, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. I won't take up much of your time. I just want to give everybody a quick update on Eastside Park, and Splash Pad and Skate Park. They are open. Attendance has been great at both. The times I've been there, there's been people in the park in general, which is something I think we haven't seen in a long time. We do have plans to continue work over there. I will be putting in the budget for concrete pad seating areas around the splash pad, as well as sidewalks to make access easier to both places. The street between the splash pad and the skate park is closed. You can get to it from either side, but you can't go all the way through anymore. That is a safety issue. Kids traveling back and forth between the skate park and the splash pad, it needs to be closed. So it is and will be permanently closed from now on. Attendance has been, in my opinion, great at both of them. Warmer weather, it was a little heavier. Cooler weather, they slacked off a little bit, but that's normal. Splash pad will be open through October 1st. Sunday at 8 o'clock, it's done for the year. We'll winterize it, get ready to open it again next spring. We are planning to bring in the fences around the ballpark and increase the parking, so that's not such an issue over there. With the extra traffic, we need more parking there. The concrete areas will be covered by sun sails, which we have and will install. And that's really about it. Pickleball nets are up, and we still have work to do there. We do have a little paint left to do on those courts, and we'll get that taken care of. Before I sit down, I would like to thank the council and the mayor for investing the money in the parks. I think it was a great investment. As I said earlier, people in the parks in general, which I haven't seen and I couldn't tell you when. Always a good thing to see people in the parks. I would also like to thank the guys that I work with. Couldn't have done it without them. Exceptional group of guys that I work with, Parks and Street. Also, David Nelson and Ellie Baker, could not have done it without them. Their coordination and their insight on a lot of things really helped this project move along. So again, thank you all, and unless you have any questions, that's all I have. Yes, sir.
Question, how many pickleball courts and how many tennis courts will be end up with?
There are 4 pickleball courts over there right now. There's not a tennis court at this time.
We're not gonna have a tennis court, okay, I got you. And then, the next question is, if I don't forget it real quick, Jeff, you go ahead, I'll try to remember.
You sure, Steve?
No, you go ahead, I'll come back.
When you talk about closing off the road,
Yes.
are you putting any kind of permanent gate, or how are we closing off the road?
There will be a gate there on each side for EMS or, you know, in case something like that. But it'll be permanent fence across to keep people from driving around.
I remember what it was. Does the skateboard park ever close?
10 o'clock.
Okay, and it's gonna be open year round?
It'll be open year round.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And it's supposed to be a dog park incorporated in that whole landscape there.
That is in a different phase of the park.
We in phase, which phase are we in now? 2.
Maybe two. It's in a larger scale of the park that we haven't got there yet.
TBD.
Yes, sir.
You might not wanna talk about this, or can you talk about the food truck park?
I really can't tell you anything about that right now.
Okay.
We're not sure how that's gonna fit in yet.
But our plans are still to fit it there.
Okay.
Yes. Any questions, Jerry?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good deal with that. Appreciate it. Mr. Jefferson, you have an update?
Yes, for the month of August, Community Service Program collected 156 bags of trash off our city streets. And item 2, we had 2 new positions filled from our roster. That's in local business. And we had 6 defendants graduated from the program. Some paid some monies that we collected, but some of it was in kind. And October the 21st is the day that we will participate again with Keep Arkansas Beautiful. If anybody that want to participate, please reach out to me at that time. That's our cleanup campaign for countywide. Thank you.
Mr. Sisson?
Yes, the football and volleyball games are currently going on. In conjunction with the Boys Club, Derek Berry Jr. Scholarship Fund has been started at Bodcall Bank. Those that they called him DJ. He was one of our students and athletes who was killed in a car wreck. But they've started that. It's at Bodcall Bank. If you'd like to participate in that, I guess I should have asked Jerry. Chris at the Boys Club was asking about the Pine Tree area, parking area that's east. On the east side of is it a bird sanctuary or is there a bird
In the
sanctuary?
park, there is a bird
Yes.
sanctuary in the park.
Okay. Is there any plans for that to turn into parking, Jerry, or is that where you're talking about? They need additional parking at the Boys Club, so I didn't know if that was a long range plan to do something there.
There is plans to do something with that.
Possibly.
We're not sure yet.
Okay, that's good. That's all I have.
Mayor,
Sir.
quick thing, but if Candy can, next time, make sure that's the Boys and Girls Club.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. We need to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Partee.
I've got a lengthy report to give you, but I'll be as quick as possible. Zinner is the folks that we did the Revis water meters with some years ago. They'll be back in town on October the 3rd. We have a higher number of meters that are not reading accurate or correct. They tell us in our meeting last week they'll be able to correct that with IT, and he will be here. I did request, if that didn't clean it up, that we go back and touch every water meter in the city with reconstruction. And if this doesn't clear up our problem, that will happen. Hayes Environmental has been in our city for the last month, smoking all of our sewer main lines. His report that he gave 2 weeks ago, we've done just over 140,000 linear feet. We have detected 222 defects in our sewer main. Some of that's been able to be fixed with capping of home service, mobile home moved out. We've cleaned up a home, but we do have 2 storm drains that were plumbed directly into our sewer system all those years ago. And as soon as we get the scope of this work done, those will be the first 2 things that we attack, because we're treating rainwater, and we shouldn't. So those folks have done a good job for us. Sewer is something, again, that's infrastructure that we've got to work on. So I'll give you another report once I hear from them, and next month I'll update you on Zinner. Last month we had talked about animal control. After last month's meeting, I checked. We had 19 dogs in the pound. The next day, when I got that number, we have room for 14 dogs. We have picked up 12 over the scope of last meeting to tonight. Right now, we have 14 dogs in the pound, what we can house. One of which is a mother dog that's due. 2 are puppies that were picked up together. They are together. Today, between 1 and 3 p.m., Mike drove around in his usual area. He identified 27 dogs that could be picked up today. Of those, he said 15 were baby pits that were probably leftovers out of litters. So this is a problem that has been worse this year than I've ever seen. Our ordinance says if we pick up a dog, the only way you get that dog back is to spay, neuter, vaccinate, and buy a city tag. We cannot enforce that, or we'll be putting more dogs down than ever. We've never been able to enforce that ordinance. I don't have the answer for you. Our friends across town are full. Larry, CCAPS is full? Yeah.
Always full.
This is a problem. I don't have the answer to it. Do you outlaw dogs and don't let a dog in the city? I don't know what you do, but it doesn't look like it's getting any better. So just making you aware of that. We did talk about pickleball courts a while ago. We've got a little painting to do. We got a boo-boo there. We didn't think about bathrooms for pickleball and skate park after the splash pad closes. So we have a neat portable bathroom on the way that we will install for pickleball and skate park. We cannot open the splash pad bathrooms up in the off season. We didn't, that one slipped up on us because they won't get closed like they should, and problems will come from that. So we're gonna put bathrooms in for pickleball and skate park. In fact, they're so good and they're so affordable, we may bulldoze the bathroom down in the park and put one of these up there too. So I'll keep you updated. Sprinklers, I would remind the public that your irrigation, we turn it on and off for free. Your irrigation is not off unless you call the city and we come out and turn it off, so you will still receive a bill. You're more than happy to pay that bill all year long, but we will turn you off for free, turn you on next spring for free. As we've been talking for months, Albemarle Corporation doing a $540 million expansion, PotlatchDeltic doing 131, plus lithium. Lithium is here, folks. They're drilling wells. As you well know from one of our media outlets, property has been bought in Lafayette County for the first plant. Our engineer, Andy Franks, A.L. Franks, we rode about 5 or so weeks ago. We've got to expand our water sewer service. We've got to pave streets. We've got to get ourselves ready. We see growth north on 79, Old El Dorado Road, east on 82. We have a sales and use tax bond that each of us own, everyone in this room. That bond will come due for refinance next year. This bond, since I've been mayor, on a bad year, we've paid $600,000 on the tail end of the bonds. This year, we will pay somewhere around $1.8 million. So the sales tax that we generate is more than the debt that we have. All that we can do with that money is pay it on the tail end of that bond. We can refinance this bond next year. We can leave things like they are, 10.375, and spend somewhere in the mid-40, about $43 million. Of that would be street paving. We still have about 70 miles of street that we've not been able to touch of the 110 that we have. We have 110 miles of city street. So during my time, we've paved quite a few. Water, sewer. I don't know what our forefathers were thinking, but our water and sewer's laid out strange. You know, you would think up 79 you'd have sewer. You don't have it very far. A lot of the 79 sewer goes over to North Dudley. There's potential growth up 79. And old El Dorado Road has got tons of potential for subdivisions. We've had a number of on-hand builder contract developers visit with us over the last month. Something will happen very soon. Please answer questions to your folks that call. Next year we can make a change in this city for the better. Everyone would like a freshly paved street. I would like to see water and sewer go mile, 2 miles in all those directions to get ready for homes. It's here. Let's don't miss the boat. I'll be happy to answer any questions anytime. My office is open all the time. I'll take time. I'll make time. I was handed a note, and I would remind the council that these chambers are used on Tuesdays and Thursdays by the Arkansas State Police. Troop Command Brady Gore had called me months ago, and I'd forgot about it. You know, sometimes we do stuff and we just don't think, but we offer they offer driver's license testing in this building, in this room, and so it's kind of neat on Tuesdays and Thursdays to see some of the future drivers that come in. We do have signage outside for those folks when they're here, and that is during the day, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And again, glad to help the state police. So the reserved parking for those that are listening on Facebook and you need to take a driving test, it's here in the city council chambers. Park in the designated spots, please. Council, that's all I have. Is there anything from you at this time?
Well, I would like to go back to water meter.
Yes, sir.
That's Magnolia Utilities.
That's right.
Okay, you spoke of some inaccuracies with, I guess, with the gauging of the reading.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what are we doing if we run across that, a citizen has a bill and have an issue, I didn't use that much water, okay, then it's known that it was an inaccurate reading by the meter. What are we doing to satisfy that issue?
We hand read, probably 2,000 meters still. So when you call and you have a water issue, we can look at the system and see if you have a leak. We always come out and hand read your meter. The numbers on the meter always change when the water's running. We just have to go to a little more work to get the readless part off to get back to the way we used to do it years ago, which is read the set of numbers. Those numbers are still there and they still click. That part's still working. It's the electronic part from that was installed on them that's to send us the signal and let us know the gallons that's not for some people. And it's not in just one area, it's kind of scattered. So if you call and you have a water issue, we come out immediately and hand read, and we can hand read every meter in the city again. I'll just have to hire people, and that was our whole reasoning behind getting away from that and going to this. So I hope to have a better report for you next month, because they'll be here for a week, and that week we're going to be working 7 days a week. That week we'll have one maybe 2 city employees working with them, taking them, hey, take me to 105 South Jefferson, boom. Our people know where that's at, so we're gonna do that with them and get them in and out of here. So they have no reason to be in your home. They'll be in your yard, and you will see the city employee by the dress that they have and the truck that they drive. And that will start, week after next. So, but we still work that. We can see the leaks every day. We can still see the leaks. And we are taken care of, and we still have complaints. So we take care of those too. Council, anything else at this time to come from you? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? We stand adjourned.